There are few events more joyful than the day a new baby is welcomed to the world. A family is formed, or gets bigger, and love shines out of every face. But in 45 countries around the world, a dreaded disease that many people assume was wiped out long ago turns that joy into tragedy, taking the lives of thousands of babies and their mothers in the first week after birth. Tetanus is a disease as old as history itself, even referred to in the Old Testament as the seventh-day death. It is caused when tetanus spores, found in soil everywhere, come into contact with open cuts during childbirth. Within days, the bacteria acts like a powerful poison, causing spasms, stiffening, and convulsions that can be triggered by the slightest sound, touch, or light.
The first case of neonatal tetanus I ever seen in my life was in Zambia when I was working in a teaching hospital about 23 years ago. I was talking with a pediatrician when a mother came in a panic with a child wrapped in a blanket, and she drops the baby in the arm of the pediatrician. The pediatrician opened the blanket, and so a baby like 6-7 days old was permanently agitated in convulsion with the hands clenched, the mouth completely tight, and a big infection on the umbilical cord. And he says, this is neonatal tetanus. And the child died 2 hours later.
Tetanus has all but disappeared in the industrialized world, as well as some developing countries. And thanks in large part to the work of UNICEF and its partner organizations, it has been wiped out in 11 new countries since the year 2000. Low-cost immunizations, safe birthing practices, and education are just a few of the tools UNICEF is using in its tireless effort to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus from every country in the world. An estimated 180,000 infants and 30,000 mothers die needlessly each year from this ancient killer because they come from families that are the poorest of the poor, the hard to reach geographically, those who do not have access to health care and education, and those whose lives have been thrown into chaos because of war or natural disaster. After escaping fighting around her home village, Lucinda Pedro was forced to flee with her family to a refugee camp outside of Luanda, Angola. It was there that she gave birth to her son, Alfonso Domingos. After her baby was delivered, traditional herbs were rubbed in the baby's umbilical cord. 4 days later, the cord was infected and the deadly symptoms began. And 1,000 miles away in Ethiopia, another mother sat anxiously while doctors attempted to stabilize her 8-day-old child. The baby's mother, Itanesh Basse, was never vaccinated. It fell on Dr. Akilu Tisome to save her little boy Mamusha's life. As sad as it is to see a hospitalized baby struggling against death from tetanus, François Gasse explains that scenes like this are the tip of the iceberg in many developing countries.
When you see 1 or 2 cases in an hospital, you have hundreds that die at home and nobody has ever heard about their birth or their death. That's why the disease was called a silent killer.
To protect every mother and every baby, UNICEF and its partners must be untiring and creative. Here in Dila, Ethiopia, vaccines will be transported on horseback and motorcycle, as health centers are too inaccessible. Using coolers that originally stored polio vaccines, volunteers like Asfoa Biranu go from home to home, giving the tetanus shots. And the mothers do their part. Walking miles from the surrounding area, these women gather for an immunization drive spearheaded by UNICEF, designed to reach as many as 150,000 women. Although there is joyful celebration at the greater health the mothers and their children will now enjoy because of the day's accomplishments, creating enthusiasm is not always an easy task. One of the challenges of convincing a mother to become immunized can be countering rumors that the shot will sterilize her or harm her fetus. Yet with education, women like 37-year-old François Gasse become strong advocates among their peers.
2 of my children died as babies. One of them died soon after birth. Ever since I learned immunization could save my children's lives, I have been sure to get all of my shots.
Along with immunization, education and outreach are absolutely critical. 20-year-old Elfina Barako gave birth to her 1-week-old baby, as many rural women do in the developing world, at home, on the ground of her hut. Her family shares its dwelling with its most treasured assets, its farm animals. The danger of giving birth is that the soil and the dung are major sources of tetanus spores. Spreading the word about the importance of getting your shot and using safe birthing practices is an essential part of the campaign to end maternal and neonatal tetanus. One of UNICEF's partners, Ubiset Mekuria's job, is to share information with traditional midwives like Mulanesh Barane about keeping births hygienic and safe. Safe birthing kits have been assembled and are being distributed that include hygiene material, a piece of string for tying, and a razor blade for cutting the umbilical cord. Clean plastic sheeting, all sterile and simple to use. After thousands of years, the possibility of eliminating tetanus once and for all is more feasible than ever. Simple, low-cost solutions, combined with a partnership that includes governments, foundations, corporations, and caring individuals everywhere, give promise that our common goal can be reached. No family should ever have to suffer the anguish of watching a child or mother die from tetanus. And if UNICEF and its partners get the support they need, no family will.
It's unacceptable to see a disease which had disappeared from the developed industrialized world to still occur in developing countries when we have a solution. We should not be talking about neonatal tetanus after 15 years of immunization and all the success stories we have heard about immunization. Let's do that little extra and make this disease history.